Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So today in this video we are going to take a look at this aquarium air pump, and this is the Electrical Rs-390. I got this from Amazon, and for this pump I paid about $5, that is close to 400 rupees. Now this pump comes with some length of air tube and two air stone. One is here and the other one is here. So without any further delay, let me just open the box and see how the pump looks from inside. Now it came in this completely closed packaging. So let me just get rid of this. So that's our pump, that's our air stone, some length of air tubing and another air stone. So that's pretty much what you get for about $5, that is 400 rupees. Now the air tubing seems decent quality. It feels like PVC, doesn't feel like silicone. So let me just open this because this is also covered with some tape. And then we'll take a look at the pump itself. So that's our air tubing. We'll measure the length of this air tubing. Now let us open the box and take a look at the pump itself. So here's the pump. As you can see, this is the box that it came in. On the box you can see that it is a 5-watt pump, and this pump comes with two air outlet. The model number is Rs-390. On here you can see the specification. It works on 220 volts and the power rating again 5 watts. So not much else is given on the box. Let us open the box now and see how the pump looks from inside. Now the box feels a little heavy compared to other pumps that I have seen, because I believe this pump is a little bigger than other pumps. So that's pretty much what you get inside the box. Not much is left in the box now. There were no instructions, nothing there, and it is self-explanatory. So this is how the pump looks. It has some very smooth plastic finish on top. The build quality seems decent. It feels sturdy in the hand. These are your two air outlets. And this thing is made with some kind of rubber or silicone, and inside it's plastic. Here is your some kind of air filter device which will prevent any dust from getting sucked inside there, which is also a nice addition. And then we've got a rubber feet, so that when you put this on a flat surface, it will not vibrate, or the sound that it makes will be reduced because of vibration. Here is your normal 2-pin plug, and here is your lanyard hole, so that if you want to hang this, because if you hang an air pump, it again produces much less noise compared to when it is sitting on a flat surface. Now let me just open the wire and see what is the length of the wire that we are getting with this pump. That's now open. This is going to be about half a meter long. Anyways, let us measure it. So starting from this plug up till here, you can see this is close to 22-23 centimeters. That is again just a little more than half a meter, almost half a meter if you include the length of the plug as well. So there is not much given on the box here. There is no buttons, nothing. There is nothing to reduce the speed. It's just a simple pump. You plug this in and you get two air outlets. Thereby you can run two air filters or another aquarium accessories by using air tubing here. Now let us measure the length of this air tube that we are getting with this pump. So let me just open this air tube first. The air tube is made with PVC. This is not silicone, so it is a little harder compared to silicone tubing. So let me just double it because it will make a little easier for us to measure. So I've got my tape measure here, starting from this end, and if I keep extending the tube, so you can see we are getting about 130 centimeters, and because we measured it doubled, if you multiply that by 2, we get about 260 centimeters. That is close to 2.5 meters, or we can say almost 9 feet air tubing. So that's a long enough air tube that we are getting with this pump. Now let me just turn this pump on and see how much noise this pump makes. So here I've got my extension here. So let me just put the plug in, turn the pump on, and probably you can hear the noise of the pump. So it is making noticeable noise. So let me bring in the mic closer. So if you put this pump in your room, you will be able to hear the noise that is coming from the pump. But as you can see, the pump is not moving around. obviously because the legs, rubberized legs, are brand new, but once they wear off, the pump sometimes starts to wear off. This happens with all the pump, and that's why sometimes people likes to hang their pump using this hole. If I put my hand in front of each nozzle, both the nozzles are producing air. So let me just connect the tube and put some air stones and see how it looks on a fish tank. So now let us connect our air pump. So the first thing that we need to do is basically break this wire into two parts. So I'm going to find both the ends of this air tubing, and I will cut this air tube into two equal parts. I think that seems decent. So I'm going to cut this here. There we go. Now that we have our air tube cut, I'm going to plug this in the air pump. So let's connect on the right side. It is now connected. Let's connect on the left side as well. And it seems left side is also now connected. Let me attach the two air stones that came with the packaging. So let's find one end of this. So that's one end, and the air tube that came with this air pump is sufficiently long, so you wouldn't have any problem putting this anywhere inside your tank. So let me connect one air stone to the air tube. That's one air stone connected. Let me connect the other air stone on the left side of the nozzle. So the other air stone is also connected. In the front I've got a small extension there, so let me put this in. Turn this on, and again now I put the pump on a small wooden bench, so you will be able to hear how much noise it is making here. So let us put these stones inside our tank. So here is my tank. This is a 1.5 feet high tank. Now these air stones are very small, so I'm not sure whether they will sink at the bottom or not, but we'll see. Because usually when the air stones are filled with air, they like to float on top of the tank, especially the smaller ones such as this one. So let's see what happens when I drop them inside the tank. So as you can see, that's one, and the other one is not going down. It is also because the air tube that came with them is a little stiff and bent upwards, so it is not dropping down. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically put a small ceramic ring such as that one on top of here, just to weigh them down, and then they will sink at the bottom, and then we'll be able to see how they are producing bubbles from the bottom. Okay, so because our air stones are not very heavy and the air tubing that came with this packaging is also a little stiff, they are not sinking down inside our tank. To sink them down, we basically weigh them down. We can tie some weight on top of there, but what I'm going to do now is basically I'm going to pass through a piece of ceramic ring such as this one, and then this should weigh them down. Then now I'm going to connect the air stone, and hopefully this should weigh it down. Now I'm going to do the same with the other tube as well. Simply pass the air tube through there, connect your air stone, and then we'll try again. And if it doesn't work, then I can add more ceramic rings on top of there as well. So it seems like this one is bending, this tube is bending a little more, so I'm going to add one more ceramic ring there just to weigh this down a little more. And hopefully once I put this in water, the weight of the ceramic ring should make them sink down. So there is that. So let me just drop them in again our tank and see whether they will sink now. So let us start with the yellow one again. Let me drop this inside our tank and see whether this will go down or not. So as you can see, after adding a little bit of weight, they are completely going down. So that's one. Let's do it with the other. Now this air tubing is a little more bent. Let's see if this goes down or not. And as you can see, with the added weight, it is also going down. Also it is still fighting a little bit, but over time it will again go down also. So now that our air stones are sinking, let me put them at the back of our tank so that we'll be able to see both of them in the same frame, and we'll be able to compare how both the air stones are producing bubbles. So let me just put them at the back. So as you can see, both the stones are at the back now. That's the yellow one and that's the gray colored version. So let me just turn the air pump on now. It's now running, and as you can see, they are making a lot of bubbles. This is how they look from the side, both of them. And let me give you a little close up of the air pump, and again bring in the microphone closer to the air pump so that you will be able to hear how much noise they are making once they are loaded. So hopefully you will be able to judge how much noise it is making. Now one thing that I want to talk about here is that because this pump doesn't have any switch for reducing the speed, it always runs on a constant speed. The other thing is that because there is no option for selecting just one nozzle or two nozzle, so once the pump is running, both the nozzles are producing air. So if you just wanted to use one outlet, the other outlet cannot be turned off. So there is that. Now let me give you a little comparison with my USB air pump. So I've connected an air stone to this air pump. So as you can see, there are three air stones. The two on the left are coming from our new pump that we just bought, and the third one is coming from our USB air pump there. So let me just turn all of them together and we'll see how the USB pump compares to a traditional pump like that. So let me connect the USB air pump to a USB power bank, and then we'll turn our traditional pump on. So let me just first show you how just the USB pump look inside our tank. So it is now connected, and there you go. So as you can see, this USB pump is really powerful and it doesn't make any noise. So let me bring the microphone closer to this pump. So I'm not sure whether you are able to hear this or not, but all the sound that is coming at the moment are coming from the bubbles that are being produced inside our tank. So you can see there. So the air pump doesn't produce much noise. Now let me turn our traditional air pump as well. And as you can see, this one is producing much more sound compared to a USB one, which is here. Now that both the pumps are running, let me show you how they look from the front. So you can see the three air stones are running at the same time, and they are making literally a lot of movement in the water. So there we go. This was my a little bit of comparison with the USB air pump with the traditional pump there. Now there are many ways you can make use of the two outlets coming out of this pump. So this is one setup, and in this setup I'm running a dual sponge filter with one outlet of the air pump, and the other outlet is being used to run this air stone. Now if I ever wanted to set up another tank side by side, all I will have to do is simply remove this air stone, plug another sponge filter on there, and I can run another tank side by side. In case I wanted to set up a small emergency tank here in this tub, I can simply remove this air stone, connect a sponge filter, or I can just use the air stone inside this tub and can use this as an emergency tank for a sick fish. Or if I buy new fish, I can set up a small container for quarantine. You can also connect two sponge filters in the same tank, and if whenever you are setting up a new tank, you can simply take that sponge filter, put that sponge filter in the another tank, and your sponge filter would already be cycled. So there's a lot of ways you can make use of the dual outlet air pump such as this one. So there we go. This was my video on this dual outlet aquarium air pump, the Electrical Rs-390. Hopefully this video will give you some idea how the pump works and how the pump sounds. I've tested this pump on a 1.5 feet high tank. So this is the amount of bubbles it is producing at this depth. The pump is also available in a single pump variant. The one that I've got was the combo option, in which I got the pump with some air tubing and two air stones, but you can buy this in just a pump only option. So there is that. Anyways, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you find this video helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.